What's going on, guys, and welcome to another video. For those that are new to the channel and just interested in smell removal, there's timestamps in the description below so you can skip through. But for those people who want to hear a bit of background, this is how we got to this stage. So in the previous video, up here, we had water in the Mark V GTI. So when I bought it, there was probably 3 inches of water in the spare wheel well. There was midges in there and it absolutely stunk. So someone had smoked in it before and there had been stagnant water sat in the wheel well for a very long time. That didn't faze me because to me water in the boot is just a leak from somewhere, and that was resolved in the video. But the lasting effects of that are the smells that, well, come with smoking and water. Two combinations that just make for an unpleasant experience. How the seller didn't know that was there, I do not know, because it absolutely reeked. But that is solved. I've jumped through a lot of hoops to get to the stage we are at today and absolutely gone all in and tried everything. So this is going to be pretty much a condensed little montage or sequence of events that I actually had to go through in order to remove the smells in the car. But we are there, it smells great now, and they have not come back, so the smells have completely gone. So essentially, to condense it down a bit, there's 4 steps involved to complete smell removal. So what all this is going to be is just a montage of different clips from my journey over the past few months, on all the things that are all the different things that I tried to get rid of the smell. Step 1, find the source. For me, I had a leaky boot seal which led to completely drenching the boot carpet and under the rear seats, and also filled the spare wheel well with water. This sat for a while and became stagnant, and the previous owner of the car was also a smoker. At this stage you want to fix or eliminate what caused the smell to be there in the first place. So for my instance, it was the leaky boot. For you, if you've got a dead animal or someone's dropped a stink bomb in there, make sure you get rid of that first. Step 2. Clean the problem area. So this bit, unfortunately guys, is the bit that could take the most time. So in my instance, I actually took the rear seats out of the car and found that the boot carpet and the carpet underneath the rear seats and the bottom of the rear seats were drenched. There was grime all stuck in the corners of the boot, and in some places had even started to lightly corrode the paintwork. So let's just take a few moments to appreciate the dirty, grimy sludge that was actually in the back of this car. You can actually see the water sitting around the edges of the plastic trims. You can see how the carpet is soaked, and you can see how it's just formed a nasty sludgy mess in all of the corners. But less complaining and more cleaning. Let's get to it. Now, you may have seen the spray bottle a couple of seconds ago. I actually just filled that spray bottle with some warm water, some washing up liquid, and a little bit of Febreze just to add a bit of a smell. I just took some blue roll and a microfiber cloth, liberally doused all of the areas that had housed this horrible sludge, and got to work trying to clean it up as best I can. Once I'd cleaned and sorted out all the rubbish, I then doused all of the wet areas with bicarbonate of soda, which is suggested to bring out any smells and neutralise. I then left that overnight and took my seats inside. Now, I did warn you that I went to the extreme to get the smell out of this car. So this wasn't mine, this was actually my mum's little handheld steamer. I just filled it with a little bit of quick leather detailer and some warm water, because obviously I am steaming the leather. Now, I think you can oversteam it and melt the leather, but I thought if I had some of that leather detailer in it, it should keep it revitalised and avoid it burning, if you will. So essentially all this little steamer does is heat up and push steam through the little handheld microfiber bit on the end. So I had a wild Sunday morning and spent it steam cleaning the leather seats. This actually helped a lot, and you could actually smell the cigarette smoke and the damp smell coming out of the seats as I was steaming it. You can see the orange from the rust where the seats had actually been sat in that water in the boot carpet for that long. It had actually started to rust the bottom of the seats. But I went ahead, finished off all of the steaming, steamed all the boot carpet and left it overnight. Then the following morning, took the hoover outside and started to hoover up all that bicarbonate of soda that I'd put on the previous day. This was actually super satisfying, and I was left with a lovely, clean, boot afterwards. It's come a long way from that dirty, sludgy mess that it was yesterday. I then did the last bit of steaming and steamed the boot carpet, the headliner, and the door cards. The headliner and door cards may have been a bit unnecessary as they didn't have any of the stagnant water in, but I thought whilst I'm there and whilst I'm steaming the carpet, I might as well just go ahead and do the full lot. At this stage, guys, I will reiterate that you may not need to go to that extreme in order to remove the smell from your car. If you've just got maybe a spot of something that's spilled, you might be better off just with some Vanish or something and give it a good scrub just to get it out. But I only had to go to that extent because the carpet underneath my seats had completely soaked up all the water, so it needed to be clean and dried. So, whether you've watched the video all the way through or just skipped to this section, the only way to truly remove smells, good or bad, from a particular area is to get science involved. So, without further ado, Step 3. Apply science with ozone. So this is an ozone machine, and an ozone machine wants to convert oxygen molecules O2 to ozone O3, and it does this by adding energy to the oxygen molecules. Ozone is a really reactive molecule. It doesn't like being ozone at all, and it wants to be oxygen. But in order to convert itself back to oxygen, it has to react with something. And in this case, it's our smells. So when we place this machine in an area that smells and turn it on, it attempts to convert all the O2 into O3. This O3 then fuses with your smell particles in your area and causes them to decay, and what is left behind is just O2. So this particular Chinese special from AliExpress I think cost about £20, and this unit uses something called corona discharge to create ozone. What that means is this fan essentially pulls in oxygen from this side. That oxygen then passes through a high voltage metallic grid, which you can just see inside the ozone machine here. The energy caused from passing through these two high voltage grids then causes the oxygen atoms to split apart. And then, once they're split apart, the fan in the front, which has pulled air in from this side and split it, then shoots out the split oxygen atoms into the area. As I mentioned a minute ago, those oxygen atoms then have to connect to another oxygen atom, and then you've got ozone, or O3, which is your reactive molecule. These ozone molecules then want to destabilize or convert themselves back to oxygen, and to do so, they have to latch on to the smells or any organic material in the area. That organic material, or in our instance the smells, is then broken down and you're left with a clean smelling area and oxygen. But the health and safety concerns with this is that ozone is unstable and it's actually not suitable for like humans to breathe in or animals or anything like that. So I will just warn you, if you are thinking about getting one of these and you are going to use it, please do a little bit of research into it first. It is unsafe to be around, and I always recommend, or everything online recommends, that you let the area air out for at least 30 minutes after you have used the machine. Obviously, the longer you use it, the more that time will be. But essentially, that is a crash course in how an ozone machine works. Just go on AliExpress and type in ozone machine. I think it's the first one that came up on there. I think it was about 20 quid if it's something you're interested in, or if you've got stubborn smells that you really want to get rid of. So yeah, let's get it in the car. Now that how it works is cleared up, it's time to get to it. So I've got my extension cable outside and my ozone machine inside the car. Various sources online suggest 15 to 20 minutes in an enclosed space is enough to really get in and kill those odours. So I've turned the timer to 15 minutes, positioned my ozone machine in the back of the car and taken my plug outside. Your air conditioning wants to be set to recirculation, so the car is not drawing any air from outside, it is literally recirculating whatever is inside the car. That means that all the ozone is going to get pulled through all the aircon system and just recirculate around for the entire 15 minutes. So, shut the door, plug it in, and away we go. Now you can really tell that this was just a cheap machine off AliExpress because it didn't come with a 3-point plug. I did specify UK spec, but it only came with 2 pins, so I had to cowboy it in a little bit. But it's in and it works, and I don't think I'll be using it again anytime soon. You can kind of see it in the car there. But I'm just going to leave it to do its thing for the next 15 minutes. Just remember guys, ozone is very dangerous. You don't want to be in an enclosed space with this machine, and after you've done using it, make sure you let it air out for at least 30 minutes. But that's enough telling off. It's time to take it out of the car. So open the door, engine off, and get it out of there as quick as possible. Obviously you want to put your windows down whilst your keys are in the ignition, otherwise you have to go back in and do it just like I did. And whilst I was there, I broke my window switches. Just broke the window switch. Oh dear, pushed it too hard. Oh dear. Great. Then open your boot and just let it all air out for half an hour. Now, after half an hour had passed, I actually put my windows up and then left it overnight. The next thing is to just go out and see how your car smells now. What a weird smell. The only way I can describe it, I mean the bad smells have definitely gone, it doesn't smell bad, but the only way I can describe it is if you've come in from being outside from a long time. This is actually completely normal. The smell of ozone is closely related to the smell of chlorine. This will pass after a few days. Yeah, anyway guys, the smoker smell's gone, the damp smell has gone, it has actually removed the smells. We're just left with the smell of the outdoors. But essentially guys, that is it. All smells completely removed and left with, well, the smell of the outdoors. That did actually pass after a couple of days, but here's a top tip for you. If you really want to go to the next level, you can get one of those little cabin bombs, or another top tip, when you next change your cabin filter, actually before you put it in, put a few sprays of perfume or aftershave on it and then install it. And what that does is when you have your fans on, it'll actually blow that smell into the cabin. But essentially guys, that is it for the video. That is how to remove smells from your car in 4 easy steps. As usual, if you like the content, please drop us a like, a subscribe, let me know what you think of the process or if there's anything I can improve on. And I suppose I will see you in the next one when we should get back to modding. So yeah, peace out guys and see you then.